Good evening, gents. It is a rainy Saturday here in Florida, and we just pulled up to the gym. What better backdrop to talk about one of the most important things that will completely define your life, and it is completely in your control. We all have dreams, we all have goals that we want to achieve, and they are what is important to us. And those things change with time. But one of the most important things that will never change with time is your physical health, your personal fitness. And with this, it flows into everything in your life. Ultimately, we are in control of our destiny. We are in control of every single thing that happens because we are the results of the actions that we take. Whether we take those actions in response to what life throws at us, or we take actions on our own accord, ignoring all the chaos that is going on in life, that is the key to determine whether you get to where you want to be or not. All too often I see guys will set out a goal. You might set out a goal to lose 30 pounds in the next 60 days. You might set out a New Year's resolution. This is a really common thing with New Year's resolutions. So many people set out New Year's resolutions, all with the intention of completing their goal. We all want to do the thing that we say we want to do. But what happens when that passion, that motivation to achieve the thing fades? And instead we're faced with the work. We're faced with the things that we don't want to do because it requires discipline. That's where we see the rift begin between the guys who achieve what it is that they actually want to do, the guys who make a difference in their life trajectory, and the guys who always just give up, and then they end up seeing, oh, I wish I had done that, or I wanted to do that, or I've been trying to do that for years. You're going to fail more often than you succeed. That is a fact. But the fear of failure is such a dangerous trap to fall into. If you're seeing the thing that you want to achieve and you're so afraid to fail, you're so afraid that you might not achieve that goal, that's where I was for years. I was that way for basically all of high school, going into college. I was so afraid that I would never get into shape. And because I was so afraid that I wouldn't get into shape, I never really tried to get into shape. I never tried to really control my diet. I never actually educated myself and give it my full effort, because I knew, okay, if I do this and it doesn't work, that means I failed. That means I didn't get into shape. That means I couldn't get a six-pack. For whatever reason, oh, my genetics are bad. I'm just not meant to be. That fear held me back for almost an entire decade. But the moment I stopped letting the fear hold me back is the moment that everything changed. And less than 2 years later, I'm exactly where I am right now. If you continue to let the fear of failure hold you back from your trying to achieve your goals, what is the thing that actually happens? What happens when you give into that? You ultimately allow yourself to never actually try to achieve the goal. And as a result, you don't achieve the goal that you are so afraid of failing to achieve. It is so ironic how the thing that you want to achieve will be guaranteed to never be possible. Even if, let's say, you had a 1% chance. So it's a 99% chance that you will fail if you try and get jacked. Okay, let's say your goal is to get a six-pack for the first time in your life. You have a 1% chance of achieving that. So that's pretty low odds. That's not very encouraging. It's not very inspiring. But you still have a chance. You have a 1% chance. You have two options. You can say, well, I don't have a really good chance, so I'm not going to try. And what is the chance that you achieve a six-pack if you don't even try? 0%. Zero. So because you're so afraid of the 99% chance that you will not achieve the goal that you want so badly, you effectively rob the 1% chance that you do have of achieving it and guarantee that you have absolutely 101% that you will fail to achieve your goal. Because you don't even try. You don't even take that first step. And this is why mindset is so important. If your language, the way you talk, if you don't believe that you can achieve a goal that you set out, if you don't even believe that it is possible, how will it happen? How is it possible for something to occur if you don't even believe that it is possible? If you don't want something bad enough, it's never going to happen. If you don't want it more than I want it, if you don't want it more than your friends want it, if you don't want it more than your wife wants it, if you don't want it more than your girlfriend wants it, if you don't want it more than your kids want it, if you don't want it more than everybody else in your life, Your coach can't do the work for you. You have to want it so bad that it does not matter what gets in your way. No matter the obstacle, no matter the issues that come up in your life, you will find a way. Because the thing that determines success is not whether you have the skills, whether you have the tools, whether you have the natural gifts, whether you've been handed a silver spoon. It's whether you actually follow through with the plan and stick to it and see it through. Because the only way that you will fail is if you quit. If you never quit, you will never fail. If you set your goal as high as possible, let's say you set your goal that you want to be 8% body fat and you want to do that in 6 months. Are you really going to be upset if you end up 10% body fat in 8 months? Is that really an issue? No, because you are so close to your actual goal and you are so far from where you started had you never tried. And that's the beauty of it. When you give it your all and you stick with it, you will always be better off than where you were. And this is where you fall into the trap of never trying. And if you don't want it bad enough, if it doesn't actually matter to you, then you need to really evaluate what it is that you want out of your life. Because if you're okay with if you're comfortable where you are now and you're happy, then that's awesome. More power to you. But all too often I hear guys complaining that, oh, well, I'm not really in the physique that I want, and I'm not really, in the life situation that I want, and I don't have a partner the way I want, and I don't have this job that I want. I don't have any of the things that you might want to improve in your life. So many times I hear that. But then you ask, okay, so why not go and try and achieve it? Why not put in some effort and go make that thing that you want happen? And it's been, well, things are good in life. I have a nice job. I drive an okay car and everything's good. I'm comfortable. That is the danger. The enemy of greatness is goodness. As soon as you have something that's good, as soon as you're comfortable, you will never, ever see the greatness that you are capable of, because you limit yourself with your own mind that, okay, this is good enough. I don't need to take risks. I don't need to push myself. I don't need to try harder. And that is where you will never see the true potential that you are capable of. We all are capable of so much more. And there's this bubble that occurs. What you believe is capable is limited to your environment. It's limited to your community. It's limited to who you spend your time with. And a lot of times in middle class, I grew up middle class, upper middle class, really. You see a bubble. So you see that there's this general range that everybody you know is well off. We all have nice cars, good jobs, and everyone seems happy. You go on vacation every 6 months, like 2 vacations a year. Everybody is feeling good. It's a comfortable life. You really can't complain. You have a lot to be grateful for. You have a lot to thank God for. But once you exit that bubble, that is where everything changes. And there's 2 ways to exit. You can exit in the ideal way, which is you go towards the upper end of the spectrum and you start seeing how things there's so much more to the game at the top end. But you can also exit at the bottom level like I did. And that occurred to me when I was thrown out of the house as a 17-year-old and I was living in complete poverty, struggling to make rent, getting eviction notices on my door. All of these kind of things that I never, ever would have experienced or never even had the perspective and insight of if I had stayed in that middle class bubble with all my middle class friends, with all the middle class families that frankly have never really had to do anything difficult in their life. And because you don't have that pressure, you don't get forged by the fire, and you end up accepting a comfortable job, and you accept a moderately okay physique, and the list goes on and on. When you settle for mediocrity, it's a choice. No one's forcing you into that. It is ultimately a choice at the end of the day, because all of us, every single one of us, is the direct result of the actions that we take on a daily basis. And once I suffered, once I opened my eyes and I was able to see what I didn't want to live through for the rest of my life, that showed me the range that there is to life. When you're at the complete bottom, when you're at rock bottom, you also now see that there is the top of the mountain. And so I don't want to be in the middle of the mountain anymore. Just because I brought myself up from rock bottom to the middle of the mountain doesn't mean that now I'm okay because I'm no longer rock bottom. If anything, being in the middle of the mountain only shows you that you are close. You can still possibly get back to rock bottom. And your physique is directly reflective of that. Just because you're not overweight, you're not obese, that's great. Okay, I was overweight. I was rock bottom, dirt poor, and overweight, and struggling with every aspect of my life. And I pulled myself out of all of that. But just because I had an okay physique a year into lifting, right, 6 months into lifting, doesn't mean that that was okay. Because a couple months of overeating, a couple months of falling off the wagon, as we always hear, guess what happens? You go back to being overweight. And so many men are trapped in this cycle. And it's not because it's your fault. It's not because you deserve it, or not because that's what you are destined for. It's because you're choosing it subconsciously. It may not be a conscious desire. You may not be like, yeah, I want to get overweight again after I worked so hard to lose the first 10 or 20 pounds. But because your mindset hasn't changed, you are still that person who is a little bit overweight, who struggles with fitness, who doesn't have the physique that they want, who isn't confident in their own body. The moment that changes is when you completely rewire your mind to become that new version of yourself that has a six-pack, that's shredded, that's confident, that enjoys themselves on vacation, that is proud to walk around with their shirt off and do things and be noticed. That is when it shifts. And you can't get there until you make the conscious choice to take action and become that man, become that version of yourself. At the end of the day, every single one of us, we owe it not only to ourselves, but to all of our loved ones, our friends, our family, our future partners, our kids, our future kids, whatever it may be. You owe it to everybody that you interact with on a day-to-day basis to be the best version of yourself. You directly reflect all of the energy that you have onto everyone in your circle. You have to be selfish first to be selfless. You can't give back out of an empty cup. You can't help others when you haven't even helped yourself first. How can you support your future family? How can you provide for them? How can you be a good role model for your future kids if you are not taking care of your health, if you are not taking care of yourself first and foremost? What kind of example does that set for your kids? What kind of example does that set for your family? And if you want more out of life, fitness, you can be rich and not have an amazing physique. But there is a reason there is such a big correlation between the guys who take care of their personal health, who are in shape, and also the guys who have everything else in life the way or close to the way that they want in the right direction. It's because it all comes down to your action. It all comes down to your day-to-day and what you do with intention. Because if you can follow through on a fitness plan, on a workout split, on a meal plan, on a daily cardio, 10,000 steps, if you can do those things, you can do all of the other things that you must do on a day-to-day basis to have your finances in order, to have your life in order, to build a business, to have a loving and happy relationship. All of these things come down to ultimately commitment, discipline, being able to follow through on the things that you say you want to do, and actually taking that action and just forgetting about the fear, not worrying and analysis paralysis, and just jump straight into it with all 100% of your effort. Because truly, if you give it 110% effort every single day and you never quit, you will get to your goal. I guarantee it. If you truly set your mind to something and you never give up and you stay consistent day in and day out and you do that for a year, it is the odds of you not achieving it slim to none. But it's hard to even stay that level of effort every single day. It's hard. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not going to be simple. If it was, everybody would be where they wanted to be, and there would be no difficulty in getting to where you want. The hard things, okay, nothing worth doing is going to be easy. The hard things are what bring you the most fulfillment. Things are what are actually what you want out of life. Doing what's easy, going to the club and drinking, not watching your food, and just scrolling on your phone every single night after work. That's what's easy. That's what most people do. That's what most guys do. And that's why most guys are not where they want to be. Most guys do not have the physique that they want. Most guys are not living the life that they want, because it's all about doing what's difficult. It's all about putting in the work. Hard work, you can see work in two ways. You can see putting in the hard work as something bad. I don't want to work hard. It's tiring. It's stressful. It gives me anxiety. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. You can frame it that way. You can have your mindset approach work in that manner. But how many guys do you know or know of that see work like that and are truly successful and happy and proud of where they are? The moment you look at working hard in a different lens and you see what it actually means, that's when things are going to change for you. If you can start to see hard work as something that brings you fulfillment, that brings you closer to where you want to be, that builds you up, that ultimately achieves a goal that you have set out to achieve, if you can see that there is a result and it has a good beneficial effect, you will embrace hard work. I love working hard. Every single day I wake up, I am excited to go and put in the work. Whether that's my fitness, whether that's just my normal office job as an engineer, whether that's going and working on the business, hopping on calls with the guys and helping them achieve their goals. Once you see work as a privilege, I have the privilege to be able to go and work on the things that I want. I am blessed that I have woken up another day, that I can go work on my fitness. I can go work and achieve things and become the best man that I can be. The moment you see hard work as a blessing and a privilege, you will never, ever want to stop. We are truly blessed to have the opportunity to become the best versions of ourselves. So many people every single day lose out on that opportunity. Some of them, it's because of the way life. Sometimes there's nothing that can be done about it. And I recently heard about the passing of one of my close family friends. We grew up together as kids. And we're the same age. For reasons that only God knows, only God sees the plan and the vision. He was taken early from this world because of cancer. We who have the privilege and the opportunity to still be here, we owe it. We owe it to all of the people who don't, to become the best version of ourselves, to make ourselves and them proud, and to truly achieve everything it is that we set out to achieve. When you look at life and you go, oh, waking up early is hard, and tracking my macros is hard, and working out is hard. None of that means a thing. All of that pales in comparison to the vast reality of life. Death is absolute. We all die one day. You can either see that as a bad thing, or you can come to terms with it and you can live your life to the fullest. You can go out and give everything you all, because at the end of the day, that's all you can do. You don't need to worry about anything else other than becoming the best version of yourself and how you can then impact others around you and ultimately impact the world. How you do one thing is how you're going to do everything. Show up with intention, show up with purpose, and put in the hard work into everything you do, whether you want to or not, and it is going to flow into all areas of your life. And this is why fitness is the foundation for my own personal transformation and the transformations for all of the guys in NZ Fitness. You have to master your mind, master your body, and then you can master whatever it is that you want to set out to achieve. So if you're struggling with life, you're really having a hard time becoming the man that you want to be, you need to snap out of the victim mindset. You need to snap out of the fact that nobody is coming to save you. You are 100% responsible for everything that happens in your life, and it is up to you to first be the person to take that step. You have to take the first step. Now, there are people that can help you along your way. Your journey doesn't need to be alone. You can have a community, you can have your family, you can have your friends, you can have coaches, mentors, but you need to take the first step and you need to be willing to put in the work. Because at the end of the day, nobody can do it for you. And you need to do it if you want to be the person that you are destined to be. Because none of us are born to be mediocre. None of us are born quitters. None of us are born with all of the struggles and bad habits that we have. We're all born with a purpose, a God-given purpose. It is up to you to take action and go out and achieve it. Start off with the small wins, build up to the bigger wins, set ambitious goals, and most importantly, work hard. Put in the effort. Hard work always pays off. That's the number one lesson that I've learned since I was 17 is that putting in hard work, it's always going to help. It's always going to bring you closer to where you want to be. And you will never regret working hard on something. You never, ever will regret putting in 100% effort. What you do regret is not trying, not giving it your all, and not doing what you know that you really need to do. So thank you for watching. I hope this video helped. It is time for me to head into the gym. I gotta go get this great workout in. And just remember that you are the result of the actions that you take every single day. So take action. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.